Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Duskmos, and today I've got the Pladask Electrisk Ederslep. Let's check it out. Okay, so in today's Signal Colors primer, we're taking a look at the Ederslep, which is a really cool, glitchy, granular synthesis delay. It's like an atmosphere background glitch machine. The Ederslep is a port of the DRAD module that Pladask made for modular synthesizers, sort of back into a pedal format. This is kind of in that familiar wheelhouse for Pladask that handles all that granular goodness and noise and clock speed type stuff. And I'd say for me, kind of right out of the box, the Ederslep sort of feels as though it's kind of a greatest hits, a little sampling platter of all the Pladask vibes. So you've got a little bit of Fabric Cat in here. I feel like you've got a little bit of Backlings in here. Even a little bit of reverb, so you kind of have some dramishness. That being said, it's different from all of those and is its own thing. And even though the drum is one of my favorite pedals of all time, I feel like for a lot of people, this might be a really good place to start. And because this is a primer, I'm not going to go super in depth with all the controls, but I do want you to start off on a good foot, so let's just cover some of the basics here. First up, you've got mod, which is a clock mod, which just can basically modulate pitch more or less. Here you've got the clock rate knob, so you can go from higher speed, higher quality to a lower speed and a little bit more of a grainier, noisier sort of clock speed. Of course, you've got output volume. Here you've got parameter 1, parameter 2, and mix. Each of these parameters change depending on what mode you're in, like what program. So it's either going to be a move control, a shape control, or an octave control on P1, or a mode, a verb, or a random control on P2. Mix, of course, mix from clean to wet. Loop is kind of cool. It's sort of its decay, more or less. The higher you have it up, the more repeats you hear, and then you'll eventually hit the max where it will just infinitely loop. I do believe it says in the notes that it'll eventually fade away, but for all intents and purposes, as you turn it up, it becomes a looper. Knobs for feedback, pretty self-explanatory. Tones also pretty self-explanatory. You got various controls on the toggle switches here as well. So this one just tells the destination of your control input. This one that's labeled right, it's for your right foot switch, which is either true bypass, gated bypass, or trail mode. This one is your loop behavior. Loop in the box just means it's going to loop what's in there and not going to allow new signal to come into the audio buffer. Then you've got regular loop mode and feedback. As you can see, it's labeled left because it's the left foot switch. And then finally here, you've got prog, which is your program. So you've got grain, TDL, or tape modes. And that's a toggle you'll probably change the most. So like where you want your control destination, the bypass behavior, and the loop behavior, those might, at least in the time that I've had it, which has only been about a week, feels like it would be the ones that you would sort of set and forget. But the program, I would imagine you'd want to change up. All right, so now we need to hear this thing. So I'm coming out of the OP1 field, going in just using one of the breakout 1/4 inches into the input. So it's a mono input, and then mono out into the TX6 from Tuning Engineering, and then out into the camera. I've got a pretty simple pattern that I've made on the OP1 field. I'm just gonna play that, and I will mute and unmute pieces, and we'll just kind of hear how the Ederslep handles those different types of sounds. So let's hear what the clean pattern sounds like. I thought my drums were on one. Okay, so that's basically what I'm just going to cycle through, just those 3 layers. We'll go ahead and start with this one. So let's engage the Etterslap. Right now it's on grain mode. Already a really cool shuffling. And listen as I dial the tone knob here. Listen to how the clock speed changes things. So we're still toned up, so we're going to be on the higher frequency range. All the way down. You can up the loop amount. You hear you reduce it all the way down. You really just get kind of like the one delay, more or less. I'll play with some feedback. And you can get it to freak out on you. And get real feedback. Speed the clock back up. And do the loop again with the clock rate up. So you can hear it's more copies basically, but they're happening faster because the clock speed is up. So now we're going to tweak the parameter knobs. So because we're in grain mode, this is going to be mode. This is move parameter. This is kind of how it's shuffling through the grains. You can hear when you ratchet this up, you kind of get those frozen stutters, which is really cool. muting that first line. Now we're just getting those plucks. Okay, now I'm going to switch modes to TDO. So now we're working with shape and verb. Which sounds really cool. Sounds like a reverse granular, or like a reverse reverb. Introduce some mod here. You can hear it really cranked up. It's doing a lot of the pitch modulation. Throw on the drums here. Now you're really hearing the delay. have it on trail mode now, so it's gonna fade away nicely. Let's add some mod to this. Nice little wash there. Okay, now we'll switch to tape mode here. This one's a lot of fun. So we've got octave now and random control. Keep it just to this main synth line here. Really wild. We just mix out the input. And get some really cool stuff. Bring the mod back down. Some craziness. Wow. I think because I had it at 12 o'clock, it was kind of in like a slowed state. And now we're very chippy. I'm going to stop there, but I'm going to play some on the keyboard now and just kind of see how that reacts a bit. Because I've got that pluck sound going, and so we'll hear that. you hear, I'm just hitting notes. We're getting those glitches. So let me actually, let's see, we'll get some feedback going. But I actually want to capture a loop here, so we'll go ahead and do that. And so right now, this is locked in on the loop side. And I can slow it down. Kind of do whatever I want to it. Change up the tone. But that's going to be rocking as a loop. And then whatever I input, it's not adding to it. So I can switch sounds even. And you can hear it's not getting added to the loop because I've got this left foot switch toggle engaged on the sort of locked loop mode. And as soon as I unlock it, as you can hear, it made its way in. It was a little too chirpy. And see, again, you find something cool, you can lock it in like that. And then you've got a really fun playground for sample fodder. You can capture this in. And then do your worst. Switch back to grain mode. Bypass for a second here. You can hear how long this is going to take to fade away, but I can try and kill it with loop and feedback. There we go. But you can just hear, okay, this is bypass one note. That's it. And I'm going to hit one note after it's engaged. And I mean, like already we're in this other world. And that was just from hitting one note. I mean, it's still going. So yeah, there's just a lot of room to experiment and play and have fun here. And now, okay, so I have this in the locked loop mode. If I go down one here. I don't know if I have to re-trigger this after. Let's try that. There we go. So now you can hear what I play, I'm adding to this loop. So just to prove it, again, I'll go up really high octave here. Oh, that might be out of the tone range. But you can hear it with the bass. Let's do that. I'll go extra low. But you get it. You can hear that I'm adding to that loop, which is cool. You can release it. It's going to behave as it would. But same kind of thing can happen here. So if you play a little something, if you turn this loop knob all the way up, then that'll lock in a loop. And then you kind of back it down a bit. And you can hear you're adding to / overwriting what was in there. And I've just stacked all those notes on top of each other. This isn't really doing anything now that I have this engaged. But as soon as I release it, it's going to respect what's here, and that's why it died so quickly. Really cool, really super fun. Yeah, just, again, another creative home run, I think, from Pladask Electrisk. One of my favorite pedal makers out there. All right, that's it for me this week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.